Hello everyone, my name is Maxime, and I'm here today with Course Creator to show you how to make a delicious herb-crusted rack of lamb with garlic-infused mashed potatoes and a Dijon vinaigrette salad.
What are you doing?
Let's get started. First things first, let's make the vinaigrette. We're gonna grab some olive oil, drizzle into a bowl. Don't be too shy. Grab your apple cider vinegar, drizzle a little bit of that, a little bit less than you added the olive oil. Grab some Dijon mustard, make sure it's a good French Dijon mustard, none of that grocery store stuff. Salt, pepper. And we're gonna give that a nice little mix. Set aside. Next up, we're gonna work on our potatoes. Here today, we're gonna be using 4 to 5 Yukon Gold potatoes. You can use red potatoes as well. It'll give about the same texture. Make sure you wash these beforehand as well. Get a sharp knife, and we're gonna cut these in quarters. It's up to you if you wanna leave the skin on or if you wanna take it off. I like the skin on. I think it adds a nice little texture to it. If you want, you can also cut your potatoes into smaller bits, which might make it easier for you to smash it in the end. Once our potatoes are complete, we can start throwing them into a pot. Leave it without water for the time being. Once that's complete, we're gonna focus on our garlic. We are gonna use a lot of garlic for this recipe, so don't be shy with how much you mince. In this case, I'll be using roughly 5 to 6 garlic cloves. Make sure you smash your garlic. That's gonna release all that oils and enzymes in there and really gonna produce that best garlic flavor that you're really looking for. Make sure you remove the skin. Get a nice sharp knife, mince those up. This is really up to you how thin you want your garlic to be chopped up. I like to have it as thinly as possible. That way when you're making your mashed potatoes, you don't get too many of those clumps in there. And set a bowl for later. Next up, we're gonna chop all of our rosemary, our thyme, and our parsley. This is what's mainly going to be used for not only our mashed potatoes, but also for our crust on our rack of lamb. What I like to do with my rosemary is kind of individually take the leaves apart. While you can use the stem, I think it has a little bit of a rough texture and won't really add any benefit to the lamb. Chop that nice. And set that into your breadcrumbs bowl. Same thing with the thyme. With the thyme, it's okay if you have some of the stems on. It's small enough that it won't actually affect any of the texture. We're gonna do the same thing with the parsley. Chop that nice up. And throw it into the breadcrumbs. Now that our herbs are set up, we're gonna start giving our lamb some attention. One of the things you'll note when you buy lamb at the store is that it comes with an extra layer of fat. In this case, I'll be using a skinning knife. Make sure it's nice and sharp, as you're going to be going into the layers of the meat. A lot of the work here can be done with your own fingers. Just slicing, trying not to get too much of the meat, and just getting that little layer of fat right outside. Work it in with your fingers, trying to get any excess fat out. Make sure not to cut yourself where you can remove that. Discard. Once that's all off, this is what we call a silver skin. We're gonna also remove this by adding a little bit of pressure in between your finger and the knife. We're gonna go in between, slightly get that off. You definitely don't want this when you're eating your lamb, as it's gonna have a really weird texture. It's gonna be really chewy, and it's not gonna be fun. Sliding the the knife in between the meat and your fingers. And voila. Now that that's all set up, we can start seasoning it. When it comes to seasoning meat, make sure you're being generous. A lot of it is gonna come off in the cooking process anyways, so don't worry. Most of the time, it won't be too salty, too peppery, it'll be just right, even if it feels like it fits too much. Flip that over, add a little bit more. Again, don't be shy with the seasoning. And coat that in there with your fingers. For now, we're gonna set this aside. Now that we're gonna set that aside, we're gonna heat a large pan, just a little bit of olive oil. And we're gonna leave that sitting on high heat for a while. Now that our potatoes are a little bit closer to being ready, we're gonna put some water in there and bring them to a boil. Make sure that they're fully submerged. We're gonna leave that on a boil for about 15 to 20 minutes until fork tender. When you can stick a fork straight through it, it usually means the potatoes are perfect and they're all set. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start our creme for our mashed potatoes. So let's grab a small saucepan. We're gonna add a stick of butter, 3/4 of a cup of heavy whipping cream, a little bit of salt and pepper, and we're gonna add a little bit of garlic in there as well. We're gonna add that on the stovetop. We're gonna leave that on medium-low heat. Now that that's all set up, what we're gonna do now is sear our rack of lamb. We're not gonna just cook it, we're just gonna sear the outside. Not to cook it on the inside, but just to create a nice crust on the outside before we put it in the oven. Sear it for about 1 minute to 1.5 minutes per side. So now that we seared our meat, we're ready to add some Dijon mustard to it. That way we can coat it to the breadcrumbs. Just a little bit on the outside. Gently coat that. Don't be too shy with it. It's gonna give it that incredible flavor that you're looking for in the end. Flip it over. Make sure you get the sides as well. Add a little bit more mustard. Coat it again. And set it aside. Now we're gonna mix all of our herbs and breadcrumbs together. We're gonna lay it out on our work surface. Spread them out evenly. Nice little flat surface. We're gonna grab our lamb and we're gonna gently coat it and move it around to get those breadcrumbs to stick against the Dijon mustard. Feel free to also use your hands and add additional breadcrumbs if it's not sticking too easily. Now that that's ready, set it aside. Now we're gonna grab a baking sheet, add some olive oil to it. We're gonna add our rack of lamb over. And we're gonna bake this for about 15 to 20 minutes at 425 Fahrenheit. We're gonna reach an internal temperature of about 130, 135 degrees. Set that in the oven, and we'll see you later. Now that the lamb is ready, let it sit aside for about 5 minutes. Grab your potatoes, drain them. Once you've drained them, place them back into the same pot that you've made them. By this time, your cream should be ready. Grab your cream and butter, delicately pour it into your potatoes. And at this point, you can use any heavy object, and we're gonna start mashing it all up. You can use a spoon, you can use a fork, whatever works for you. Just make sure everything comes together, everything's completely mashed, and that we have no remaining full potatoes left. Once the mashed potatoes are ready, we're ready to dig into the meat. Grab your rack of lamb, set it on your work surface, and we're ready to cut it open. Grab a sharp knife, and we're gonna go in between the bones. Now that the lamb is chopped, we're gonna add our spring mix to our vinaigrette. Mix that all up. It's okay if it goes all over. Now we're ready to plate. And that's how you make a delicious herb-crusted rack of lamb, garlic-infused mashed potatoes, and a delicious Dijon vinaigrette salad.